We
are
We
are
cultivate.
cultivate
cultivate.
cultivate
Cultivate.
Cultivate. We are cultivate.
Hello and welcome to a special mini-sode of Ye Olde Crime, the show where Maddie and I discuss the funny, strange, and obscure crimes of yesteryear every Wednesday. This special bi-weekly segment is called Can You Crack the Cramp-Word, which is slang for a difficult or obscure term, which I thought was very fitting. And joining me today are Lindsay and Jordan from the Spooky Spouses podcast. And before we begin, I'd like to give them the opportunity to tell us a little more about themselves and their show before we get started.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Hello.
Thank you, Lindsay and Maddie, in wherever you are. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. This is so exciting.
Do you want to introduce the show?
Yeah, I could introduce the show. We are Jordan and Lindsay Reed. We have a show called Spooky Spouses where we talk about ghosts and stuff. It's basically your everyday clickable, clickbait,
Yeah,
ghost
like
stories, weird things.
yeah, anything weird that seems clickbaity or anything that we think seems interesting when we do research for the show, and research is in enormous air quotes. And then we get to the recording session and we're like, maybe this wasn't that interesting, actually. It might have just been interesting for like Wednesday us.
But that's the best part of the article, though. Is like when
Yeah.
you find a spooky article, the first couple paragraphs, best part. And then when it continues on, you're like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Like, I would assume you're listening to Ye Olde Crime. You like the show, and that obviously means you like very smart and well-researched topics, very well presented, very intelligent hosts.
We're the opposite of that.
Yeah, if you're like, you know what, I feel like being a little bit dumb today, or I don't want to be that smart all the time. It's too much pressure. That's kind of, I guess, the void that we would fill.
But, I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't want to be like, yeah, you guys are so dumb. So dumb. No, but I get wanting to like listen to something where you don't have to think about it. Where you're just like, I'm just gonna enjoy some ear candy. I don't have to regurgitate a bunch of previous information about a specific case or whatever. Like, I'm just listening for the pure joy of listening, and I don't have to think about stuff. I can just sit here and enjoy what I'm listening to.
True.
Yeah, it's kind of like the
Who doesn't love that?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the play pretend of spooky things.
Yeah. We've been making the show since I think 2017.
I think so.
2017, but we got into it too because we like the strange, the unusual, paranormal stuff, etc. But like, contrary to popular belief, yes, we know how to read. We know we like things that require thought. But yeah, I think that what we realized too, like when we were starting the show, this might be too much like inside Spooky Spotcast or inside baseball. But we were like, yeah, but we like that stuff, but can we do that effectively? And we said, absolutely not.
No.
So that's why we have the show that we have.
Yeah, I feel like there is this misconception for people who have never even like contemplated the goings on behind the mic of a podcast. Like, there's a lot more to it than people really realize. And I mean, if you want it done well, you know what I mean? Like, you can very easily just be like, I'm going to download this app on my phone. I'm going to record. I don't care what kind of mic I use because I don't mind if I hear barking in the background and wind noises. Like, that's fine with me, but I mean, most people don't like that kind of stuff. So like creating a well-polished show is a lot more time intensive than a lot of people realize. So it's like, I don't want you feeling like, oh, because we don't do all this quote unquote research for our show that we're not doing anything, but you like do all this like soundscape stuff on your show and all these other things that like I don't do for my show that like enhance the listening experience. So it's like, to each their own, man. Like,
totally.
Yeah.
1000%, Lindsay. And I think we realized too, like when we were starting it, like, and this is, I don't know, maybe there's people listening, they've been inspired by your show and they're like, I want to start a podcast about stuff I like. And I think it's neat. And when you're doing it, you have to think of like, what type of show do I feel like I could best make, or we could make, or
Mhm.
maybe you're doing it with a lot of people or whatever. And for us, doing a show that, yeah, is the way that ours seems to fit best. But then, like,
Yep.
I know casually we both listen to shows that are like
Mhm.
extremely, they're like void of any and all humor, like absolutely none. And then some in the middle, and then some on either ends. But yeah, we're just happy to be here with another spooky adjacent podcaster
Yeah.
trying
Yes.
to guess anything.
Yeah. So I'm going to segue to my first question for y'all, which is, as the title of your show implies, you guys are married. So
Yes.
tell me your love story. And I'm doing my
Ooh.
chin on my fist
Oh.
move.
Yeah, this is great.
I wish we had like a spooky love story.
Nah, it's not spooky at all. It's
We don't.
pretty. It's
You brought her
pretty-
back from the dead. You dug up her corpse.
Yeah.
I died a long time
So
ago.
it all started when I was like, I could
I
try
was grave
stabbing.
digging.
Yeah, I was like, I could grave dig. And then I was like, whose hair is that? And then, yeah, I pulled her out.
I popped right out of there.
I talk a lot. Do you want to say the thing?
Well, we met in high school,
Mm-hmm.
which was forever ago.
Very long time.
We would skateboard together, just do high
Nice.
school stuff together. And we went our separate ways. And then we got back together in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back together by like we actually started dating each other because we were good friends. And then we just have been inseparable like ever since, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
We
nothing crazy.
started pals, became very close pals, kept in contact because, Linz went to school, I went to school, I moved to Oregon. Linz was all and around Ohio, where we grew up and where we live currently. And then I moved back. And then it was always one of those things too, like if I was coming back home on break or if I was visiting home from Oregon, of course you holler at your pal and we would hang out and whatever. And then all of a sudden in 2012, we just decided to kiss. And then we were like, we sat there looking at each other and we're like, is it time to kiss? And then we said, yes, commence kiss.
We were watching a documentary about Cleopatra.
We were.
It was like the most boring documentary in the world. So it was like, we better kiss or we're going to fall asleep because
Yeah.
this is bad.
Otherwise, why are we watching this horrendous documentary if not to smooch
Yeah.
once?
Yes.
And then,
Yes.
whoop, okay, gotta go. See ya. Oops, nervous now.
Yeah.
My hands are sweaty and I don't know what to do with them now. So I'm going to moonwalk out of here and I'll see you never.
But yeah, that's it. We got married in 2015.
Mhm.
We'll be coming up, 10 years next year in September. And making the show for almost as long as we've been married. And then that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's our
Yeah.
story. Just pals. Best pals.
Just pals that were like, I think we should suck face. And then
Yeah.
here you are.
We're gonna write a book that's just called Pals Who Kiss.
Oh, I thought you were going to say suck face.
Pals
who suck face.
Pals who touch lips. And then the story of kissing your friends.
How did you kiss your friend? Each chapter is like a different story of kissing your friend.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
like that.
I think that'd be a cute book.
Yeah.
That would. It'd be a fun meet cute book. Like, oh, read this story. They like fell on each other and accidentally kissed, and now they both started porn together. It's great. Like, who knew?
Yeah.
They combine both things, falling and kissing,
Yes,
repeatedly.
as one does. I hear.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, we're guessing.
I'm guessing. I don't know what the internet is. So you kind of talked about like doing the podcast together, but what kind of inspired you to do the podcast to begin with? Like, what inspired you to create it?
I think at its core, Lindsay and I know you know this because listeners, we had to reschedule this like 5,000 times and it's all been our fault. So Lindsay and I both live pretty busy lives and it's kind of been that way since 2012, working a bunch and being pushed and pulled in all these different directions. So we wanted, I think, an excuse to spend more time together. And we would then sit down every Sunday and just record the show. We originally were going to like approach the show differently, and then we decided not to. I think we like tried to record a mock thing and it didn't really work. So then we pivoted.
We talk a lot.
Yes.
Like we nonstop are talkers. We will hold you hostage
Mhm.
and That helps too.
Mhm.
And like a lot of our friends also were like, your banter, you need to podcast this. Like, because it will just be nonstop between us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, quite literally, it's like if we're around each other and we're not like, and I mean this like literally, like Merriam-Webster literally, not 2024 literally, where it means figuratively. If we're not talking and we're around each other, one of us is either asleep or one of us is either watching the person sleep or or we're watching something. It's very rare that we aren't just
Yeah, we chat a lot.
we do not shut up. So it's nice to do that too, because like I think that, you know, in and of itself, Spooky Spouses is kind of like a very, very distilled and a bit chaotic and hyper version of our real relationship anyways. It just happens to be focused around weird stuff.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
both
for
into
sure.
really spooky stuff.
And
Our
then
whole life.
when we were living apart for a while, we were like 4 hours away, we would both be on the phone watching the same Ghost Adventures and then like talking about
Love
the
it.
show as we were watching it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about our long distance ghost
Yeah,
adventures.
yeah, we did that for a while. That was like that was 2012,
That's
2013.
so weird. That's
It's-
a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
Is to call someone, like not even FaceTime. FaceTime wasn't a thing.
It wasn't that popular. No, it really
to
wasn't.
call somebody and be like, okay, turn the show on.
Did you just see them walk inside this room? Cool. Are you looking at the pants they're wearing? Very cool.
Yeah. We're strange.
Yeah.
We're very strange.
So that's the show. And then it was cool too, like doing the show, like it's fun learning how to edit and do all that stuff too. I really like doing
Yep.
that. And yeah, it's all just been positives. You know, we didn't do the show for a minute for, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 months because it was like 2021. And I think that was a time where like we were really reeling from like, holy smokes, we got hit pretty hard by the pandemic and being locked down.
Mhm.
And then we also realized like we don't release as regularly, but we make the show still and we're still active. And it's fun because yeah, it's just something that we genuinely really like to do.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty common. Like I know a lot of podcasters that I am friends with, once things kind of opened up again and people had to like go back to work and all that kind of stuff, like a lot of
Mhm.
podcasts that had been producing content like consistently across the board, all of a sudden we're going to be every other week, or now we're going to be every 2 weeks, or we're not going to do it anymore. You know, like it was,
Mhm.
which makes sense because the world went back to normal again, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
you know, you don't always have as much time as you used to, where you were like, I can spend all this time like editing my show and writing content and, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden you're like, I have to put on my big kid pants and I have to go to the office and I have to do my regular 40 work hour week, like type of blah, blah, blah. So yeah,
Mhm.
I
You're
get it.
absolutely right. Yeah, and we were actually quite active during lockdown. We were doing like a little YouTube thing that was like extremely underproduced, but it was still so fun to do. But yeah, just less time equals less what? Creativity a little bit. So then now
Yeah.
whenever we can, we just knock it out and have fun doing it still.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. If you could be any
Mm.
cryptid,
Mm.
who would you be and why?
I would probably say Flatwoods Monster because she's
Nice.
like chilling in the woods. She's got like the creepy aesthetic. Plus, she's like glammy. She's kind of like a glam cryptid because she's like got her whole like steez and like this big like headpiece. Like she's kind of the
Yeah.
Beyonce of cryptids.
Okay. Well,
Nice.
I guess she's the Beyonce of cryptids. Yeah, true.
I just decided that.
Slap it on
But
a t-shirt.
I love a good Flatwoods Monster. What about you?
She's married to a very popular hip hop artist, and her sister's name is Solange.
Yeah.
I would do so. I think at my core, because we've talked about cryptids a lot on the show. We used to talk about them
Yeah.
way more, but then I think we were like, oh my gosh, I think we've talked about every one. Even I would not be this one, but I do like his name, Spoongeely. I do like Spoongeely.
Mhm.
It's so fun to say. And I
It
would say,
is.
if you're listening to the show, pause the show and just say it 6 or 7 times and then smile a little bit and then resume the show. I would do, there's this little town in Ohio called Loveland, and there is a
Yes.
hyper specific cryptid to Loveland called the Loveland Frogman. And
Mhm.
I would do that. I like a weird little dude, and there's nothing weirder than this anthropomorphized bipedal squatty toad that I don't even know what it does. I don't even think it really has a purpose other than just
No.
being a nasty little
I
freak.
don't know like what it does.
Yeah.
I think
No,
it's just like there.
it's just gross. It's just yucky. It's just a yucky thing.
Yeah.
Could it also be I don't know, maybe it's like the Weird Al of cryptids.
I don't think anything. I don't think if the Loveland Frogman knows that it's funny, then that's great.
Yeah.
Because Weird Al knows that Weird Al is hilarious. But I think
Yeah.
the Loveland, I don't know if the Loveland, maybe I'm not giving the Frogman enough credit, but I just
Mhm.
think it's squatty and weird. And I think there's something really beautiful about living a life where you float in a pond and you're just squatty and weird. And that's really all you got
Yeah.
to worry
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the one that's really sad all the time? The Squonk, where he cries all the time and he's like, 'cause he's so
Oh.
ugly. Is that him? That one makes me sad.
about. That sounds really familiar. I also want to
Because
say,
it makes me really sad.
Well, because there's that whole like string of like moms that lost their children too that are always crying, and it's like, that's sad.
oh, like
Yeah.
ghosts? and
like
stuff?
ghosts and stuff.
Oh, I was
There's
going to
always
say,
like
yeah,
the Crybaby Bridge.
please
and,
make
like,
sure that you say they're ghosts, not just people.
It is the Squonk.
Aren't
Oh.
they like a little? They're also like a little dude.
Yeah. He lives in the hemlock forest of northern Pennsylvania. And
That's great.
yeah.
just crying.
Yeah.
Now that cryptid is definitely self-aware, right?
Yeah.
He's covered with warts and moles and is always unhappy.
Poor
And he leaves
dude.
a tear-stained trail because he's constantly weeping. He
Wow.
must be like dehydrated all the time.
Oh,
Like,
fully.
it would be exhausting to be the Squonk. Like, you would constantly be like bleary-eyed, red in the face, probably snot everywhere. That'd probably
Yeah.
be me. That would be the Squonk. And I'd have to just like throw myself into a body of water for a while to rehydrate and then repeat the process all over again.
I would like to think that the Squonk knows enough about the non-cryptid world, about the human world, and has realized I cry so much, salt is in my tears, I'm losing electrolytes.
Mhm.
And I would like to think that the Squonk also just is sponsored by Gatorade or thinks that it's sponsored by
Yeah.
Gatorade just to refuel and get ready
Yeah.
for more
Yeah.
tear sessions.
If any of our listeners are in northern Pennsylvania, anywhere near where the Squonk frequents, please leave some Gatorade out for the Squonk tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe like give it a pep
Mm.
maybe a little
Yeah.
pep
Or some
talk, maybe a-
Pedialyte.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
You could also
Just
leave
something.
leave the Squonk, but I believe you have to leave it on your front or anywhere right outside of your door in a bowl. So loose
Yes.
Gatorade or
Yeah.
loose Logan Paul drink, that Prime. Give that to
Yeah.
the Squonk as well.
Or maybe some coconut water. I don't know.
Coconut water.
Something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
something
good one.
hydrating.
Coconut water is I would say do that. That's the best one yet. Yep. Do that one.
Yep. Yeah.
You'd have to lure it in though.
And maybe it'll be good for his skin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
you play some like My Chemical Romance or something. Like maybe he's really
Exactly.
emo. And he's
That's what
like, oh, these people get me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you play that, lures them in.
Mm-hmm.
They drink a little Gatorade, and they're like, I'm still sad, but I'm rehydrated.
Yeah, put a guitar out. Maybe the Squonk is also like, I know a few chords.
Yeah.
I could sing sad songs, a tiny keyboard, whatever
Yep.
you want to do. Or a phone that you're not using or an old iPod Touch and download like fart or burp piano and leave that out. Leave that out for the Squonk as well. You could do that.
Yeah. Leave one of your old studded belts from Hot Topic outside. Anything Hot Topic. Just leave it outside
Yeah.
for the Squonk. And
Yeah.
he'll be like,
Yeah.
respect. Thank you.
I've been seeing those photos, those back-to-backs between like late 90s, early 2000s Hot Topic aesthetic. And then now I didn't realize it changed so drastically because it used to look like Dracula's house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And now it's like anime. It's just like
Yes.
all anime and mushrooms and some goth stuff, but mostly
Yeah.
anime.
Mostly anime.
Yeah.
Which, it's fine. But
It's fine. It's perfectly fine.
it's not nearly as goth as it used to be when
No,
I
it's
was
kind of
younger,
a bummer.
so-
Yeah.
yeah.
Spooky Spouses, a podcast about ghosts and stuff. Are you interested in the paranormal?
And then all of a sudden we hear this. down a hallway when there's no one else there, I would go, maybe there's a ghost farting around these halls.
Intelligent conversations?
We don't know a lot.
We don't at all, and we never claimed to.
Furbies?
Do these things so you could essentially kiss the Furby, but you're really kissing your ghost partner.
Furbies again a little bit?
I don't know.
I don't know what you want your Furby for,
It's a
but
kiss.
Biting people?
Do you like a food enough to bite middle schoolers for it?
no. Do you?
Mystery boxes?
A box full of human heads was reportedly stolen from a medical supply truck in Denver on Thursday.
Find the Spooky Spouses wherever you get your podcasts. Excuse me.
All right. Are you guys ready to crack some cramp words?
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's cramp it up.
All right. Let's get crampy. Speaking of needing Gatorade and electrolytes.
There we go. Yeah, true.
And the
Yeah, true.
cramps. Rehydrate. All right, Lindsay, you are up first.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Your first term is durry-knacking.
Dury-knacking?
Oh, I know this one.
You
Great.
do?
No, of course not.
The first thing that came to my mind was durian.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, ew. Yucky.
It's a bad fruit. It's a bad fruit.
It's a bad fruit. It smells real bad. I can use
Oh,
it in
man.
a sentence if you would like.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might not help you. Bob is gone durry-knacking.
Yeah,
Oh.
now I know it.
Yep. I
You're
gave it
such a
away.
liar. Hmm.
Durry-knacking.
I mean, I want it to mean like nasty, like in the way Janet Jackson uses nasty, like you're a nasty boy. But I feel like that's not what it is. Like you durry-knacking.
You're durry-knacking.
You nasty. Maybe like gallivanting? Like
Ooh, okay.
putzing around or like, I don't know. I really-
Putzing around with the intention of being nasty about it.
Yeah, just maybe getting into some nasty-ish.
Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. Great.
I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with nasty-ish. I think I just made up my own words
Mhm.
for a word that I don't know.
Wait, but your definition is you think durry-knacking is gallivanting with the intention of just being a nasty little freak.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like it.
Okay.
According to Victorian slang, words are hard. Durry-knacking is slang for begging. So when you're which could be
Oh.
going buck nasty, like who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Begging could be it's dirty business, so
Yeah. I feel like you were
That-
close.
Yeah, that nasty boy.
Yeah.
nasty boy.
I think I would say your
Doing a little
guess,
begging.
and this isn't a competition, but I would just, maybe it is. I don't know, but I would
Mhm.
like to say that's like a B- guess. That's really
Okay.
good. That's
I'll
really
take a
good.
B minus.
That's
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, it's B-. All
Man,
right, Jordan.
I've never heard that word in my life.
No. Yes, I'm ready.
Your first term is snow fairy, and it's not cocaine.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh.
That's just a real sassy wizard who loves selling coke. Oh, here comes Grimlack, the snow fairy. Snow fairy. So I would assume this is. May I hear it in a sentence, Lindsay, please?
Yes, you may. One could say that the Mona Lisa is a bit of a snow fairy.
Okay, excellent. Because I was about to say it's a flavor of Gatorade, but I don't believe that that's true.
Back in the day.
Today.
Ye old
Could-
Gatorade.
Yeah, ye old Gatorade.
You old snow fairy.
Do you see Sebastian? He drinks snow fairy flavor. Snow fairy. The Mona Lisa is a snow fairy. My guess, and this is not a competition, but I will get this one right.
Okay.
That's not true at all. Lindsay knows how to read and I don't. I would say snow fairy is something that is, commonplace.
You're really avoiding the answer here.
Yep, you're right. That's why I'm making it two answers in one. Something that is commonplace, but a bit elevated. Or maybe it's commonplace, like, oh, I expected to see that. I knew I was gonna experience this thing, whatever that thing is, but there is a lure behind it. There's a little bit of what's the word that I'm making up? Grandiosity behind.
Okay.
behind
Okay.
it. That's my answer.
I was thinking that too, like a mystery.
Ooh,
Or
well, no,
like
yours is better than me
Okay,
now.
well, I won't talk anymore.
All right.
Shut your face, Lindsay. Just kidding. So, a snow fairy is a woman who has a pretty face or is comely. So, it's a little bit like a woman with a little bit of grandiosity.
Yes.
I
Okay.
would give you, I'll give you like, B minus.
A
I would say,
C. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was going to say C
So we're
minus or
pretty
D
even.
plus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you got like, I mean,
Well, I didn't even say
she's
mine was
pretty.
a woman. Yeah, true.
So,
Yeah, that's okay. I feel like that was a
You
big
kind
old
of said a lot of different things.
swing and a miss. Yeah, I sure did. And that's
Okay.
a tactic, I think. If you are
If you just say all the things, then one of them maybe is right.
Yep. Like if any of the listeners here, if you're driving, if you're on your way to court right now and you're like, how do I answer any of these questions? You answer every question on earth as you're
Yep.
being asked a question. And then they're
That's
like,
my trick on tests.
yeah,
If it's like a describe something, you just write so much information that eventually, hopefully, you're right in there.
that,
Or the teacher is just like, I don't want to read this
yeah,
anymore.
whoever's grading that, it's like, oh, okay,
All right.
fine. Full points. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah, I'm sure it's in there somewhere. Pass. Yeah. All right, Lindsay, your second term is autumn, and it's not the season.
I was going to
like,
say, I know that one.
I know that one. It's after summer.
Maybe around September, kind of global warming. It might be starting earlier each year.
Maybe about
Pretty
October
leaves.
is prime time. Yeah.
Pumpkins and stuff.
All right. I need it in a sentence at least then.
Okay. The crowd was so pleased that they got to experience another autumn or fall of the leaf, if you will.
Ooh. That was
Wow.
and that was a very small poem that you just said, Lindsay.
It was. Yes.
That's really good. That's really
It's going
good.
in my memoir. So
What do you think it is?
I don't like to think a lot.
Yeah.
So this is hard.
Fair.
Nice.
Fair.
The first thing that I thought of was like entertainment or like show. But I don't know. That's a really hard one. Because like when it's already a word that you
Mhm.
already know that word to meaning something else,
Yeah.
Yep.
it's like it's the fall.
Here's
But-
the thing. When a word already exists, that's that word.
Like it's just that word,
And that's
So-
the thing. I think we could all agree on that about words, is they are.
So first thing, it's a word.
Yeah.
Check. Nice. Check.
Check.
I don't know,
Yeah.
like an entertainment show, a word,
Entertainment
a
show.
word.
This was a form of entertainment. So it's describing a
Ooh.
form of entertainment. So if you think back, what was considered entertainment in ye olde times, that can give you a bit of a clue.
Murder.
Mm-hmm. I also feel like you go way far back and they would like love, people of yesteryear kind of just loved watching anything. Like you go back thousands of years, it's like dancing,
Mhm.
watching a frog hop around, throwing a stick. Like, oh, wow. You think about that stuff
Hanging
too.
a witch.
Hanging a witch. Someone who can someone who realized they could jump for the first time. That's entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things to be entertained by, especially if you go back farther and farther.
I
I
know.
imagine seeing that though. The first person who ever jumped. That's insane. That's huge.
Imagine like the plays that we don't know about.
Yeah.
It's like here's a play about we're gonna watch
Craig jump.
Craig jump around on the stage, and this is gonna be it.
Yep.
In this moment, just really quick, I've just really quick, which is like so contradictory. I've never wanted anything more in this moment than to be at that point in time to watch the first person jump ever in my life. Everyone just loses their minds.
Crying,
I can't believe it.
overwhelmed.
Oh,
with emotion.
Someone's brain explodes. Like it's
Yeah, completely. They were there and then they weren't for
Yeah.
a second.
They hovered.
They hovered.
Yeah, I guess I would just say like if it's a form of entertainment in a way, I would say maybe like a singing performance. Because I feel like that'd be the most common.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know. I'm just Honestly, my brain just doesn't work very well. But I was like picturing a woman named Autumn just singing it out.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. I want to know what it really means. Because I have no idea.
So this one has a long definition, which will make sense once I start reading it. But it's essentially a slang term for an execution by hanging.
Whoa!
I did say witch hanging.
You did.
But I
You
didn't go
did.
with it. Yeah.
So when the drop, so like letting the person fall, was introduced instead of your old gallows, where they'd be on like a cart that would pull away from them, or
Oh.
they'd be on like a ladder that would be kicked out from underneath them, and a man was for the first time, quote unquote, turned off. The people who watched the execution were so like, oh my God, that with the invention of just dropping somebody, that they spoke of
Yeah.
it as in autumn or like the fall of the leaf whenever they were talking about a man
Oh.
to be hung. Like, oh my God, it's autumn once again. Like, let's go to the prison or wherever the execution was taking place. So
And dropping someone is the opposite of jumping.
this is
Yeah.
true. Yes.
We were close.
As soon as you were reading the definition, I just kept thinking about that song that goes, "Let the bodies hit the floor." And
Yep.
like that's where that song was created.
Oh, you mean drowning pool? And now drowning is jumping in reverse underwater forever.
It
Yeah,
is.
forever.
It is.
Mhm.
It
Forever.
all makes
Yes.
sense.
Yeah, we see.
You were just doing the anti-definition. So whatever that's called, the antonym, right?
Antonym.
I don't know.
Sure, yeah. I would.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
think we're just going to say you're right.
Yeah, words are hard. Whatever the opposite of something similar is. I think it's,
Yeah.
antonym, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Jordan, your final term is
Okay.
ballyrag.
Ooh, belly rag?
Ballyrag. Like
Oh,
Bally
bally
Fitness.
rag.
Like Bally Fitness and rag.
Bally
All one
rag.
word.
Lindsay, may I please have bally rag in a sentence?
Yes. You never wanted to encounter Greg late at night because he was known to be a bit of a ballyrag.
Okay, so now I'm going to Greg. I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I've cracked the code.
I feel like this is when like we go to Kroger late at night for like ice cream.
We
We also encounter Greg that might be ballyrag.
Oh, see, I was thinking you meant we had ballyrag,
Oh, no.
which I was thinking that meant
Well, maybe.
you have insatiable hunger that fuels anger, especially at night.
Ooh, yeah.
Ballyrag. And I'm trying to think if we're thinking of the word bally and what that means. No idea. Rag.
Because you have a bellyache.
Yeah, ballyache. That's great. And then we think about the word rag.
And that rag needs to soak up your bellyache.
soak up the anger.
Mhm.
But rag is also ragtime. We're thinking of music. I'm thinking of early 20th century America. Okay, so I'm thinking it is. Greg's a bit of a ballyrag in it. I think that ballyrag, although it is a good name for a Pokemon or even a cryptid,
Mhm.
the ballyrag. My official guess, which I believe is the correct answer, at least for me right now, is ballyrag is insatiable hunger of the night. Yeah, insatiable hunger of the night. And it makes you upset.
I mean, you kind of got like the anger bit right.
Yes.
So
Okay.
a ballyrag
Greg's angry.
is to swindle one out of his money by intimidation and sheer abuse. So think somebody that just like
Ooh.
comes out at you and is like, "Give me your wallet," and just like totally intimidates you, and you're just like, "Oh God, that guy's such a ballyrag."
I like that.
After he stabs you.
Yeah, one
Ballyrag.
stab. You want to get did you like that? No, of course I didn't.
I do think it'd
It'll
be
happen
funny,
again.
like you're walking around New York City and that happens to you because it happens a lot there,
Mm-hmm.
and just yelling at someone that they're a ballyrag.
You're just a ballyrag. You know that? Stop, police!
We're telling the
Citizens
cops
arrest!
that.
Got a real ballyrag over here.
Well,
Where are the
Greg's a bit
coppers?
of a
Where are the
ballyrag.
coppers? Got a real ballyrag over here.
Any outstanding citizens can help me with a ballyrag presently, at present? I like the term ballyrag. I was
I know, that's a cool one.
I was thinking of
Yeah.
slang before this of yesteryear, and I remembered the term giggle water for
Yeah.
alcohol. which I think
Yeah.
is hilarious that they used to call it giggle water.
That's cute.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they had some really cute terms for things. Like even things like prostitution would have like super cute, cutesy names. And then when you heard what the actual definition is, you're like, "Oh, that's not
Like,
cute
that's
at all. That's awful."
And it seems like it seems like a very British thing, right? Like
Yeah.
if we like think of like a lot of British slang, a lot of it is very fun and whimsical and
Mhm.
cutesy. I don't know why I just keep thinking of the word topsy turvy, which I know isn't purely British, but I feel like it is. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like a lot of it would have to have stemmed from there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of it, a surprising number of the slang, well, I shouldn't say surprising, but a good number of them are either from Britain, or there's also quite a few that come from Australia when it was a penal colony of Britain. So there'd be people that were
Oh.
sent to Australia and they would kind of have their own prison slang and stuff as well. So it's kind of cool to see all these random. I'm trying to find one. Oh, well, like calling somebody a knob, you're calling them like a
Mm,
penis,
Mhm.
so
yes.
that's like a common one.
I'm trying, yeah, because we there's so much slang these days. We were just talking about it like 2 days ago with Gen Z and then young Gen Alpha, because like internet exists, things happen, things are shared, things die very quickly. And I think the exact same thing happens with slang. Like when we were growing
Mhm.
up, like it was perfectly fine to say sweet for
Mhm.
years. And now you
Yep.
say it and people are like, okay, take it easy, bud. Take it easy, grandpa.
Yeah.
And I think now we have to start out slanging these young people because
Yeah.
they're just going to keep getting cooler and having all this cool slang. And what are we left with? I mean, we're
Yeah.
old millennials.
Yeah.
We
I'm an elder
we're
millennial.
yeah,
Mhm.
we're full of dust. We're crusty and
We're
dusty.
crusty and dusty.
Yeah.
We are. So to bring back these yesteryear,
We had words like cracker. That guy is such a cracker, when you're just
exactly.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a weird white guy, like
Exactly.
that guy's such a cracker.
Exactly.
Like, what? What? And they got all these weird words. I will say, I have a 15-year-old, and even my 9-year-old will come home with like the most random slang terms. And I'll be like, well, what does that mean? And it's something like ridiculously stupid. And then
Mhm.
my husband and I will glomp onto that and then use it incorrectly in like random conversations. And it just drives them insane. Like, yeah, that's like my
Mhm.
favorite is to take these terms and use them incorrectly. And then they're just watch their faces like they die a little inside.
You're ruining my life.
Yeah. You're ruining this for me,
Stop.
Mom.
That's not what Riz means, Mom. Your spaghetti doesn't have Riz.
Yeah, it does. I added glitter to it. It's
Yes.
Riztastic.
So it's rizzed up. It's rizzed up, pal.
This spaghetti has such riz that the fettuccine is like, whoa. Yeah. And yeah, then she dies a little inside.
That's okay.
Well, I would like to thank Lindsay and Jordan for joining me today for Can You Crack the Cramp-Word? And before we go, can you please tell our listeners where they can find you on social media and when new episodes of your show come out?
Yes.
Well,
You-
first off, thank you. This
yes.
is
Yeah.
a lot of
Lindsay.
fun.
Thank
We
you.
got smarter.
And Maddie in spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep her in a box. So she just comes out
Ethereal.
every once in a while.
Good. There we go. Never mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Wherever that box exists, Maddie, thank you very much. You can find our show anywhere. Just search Spooky Spouses. We're on Instagram. We're on, like everyone was on Twitter. We're on Twitter as well, but like not really. It's kind of like
Yeah.
kind of a whatever, who knows what's going on. Instagram, I think, is where we're the most active.
Mm-hmm.
Episodes come out, really don't know, kind of whenever.
They used to be every week, then they were every other week, and now they're kind of like, maybe twice a month. So we're trying our
That's
best.
okay.
We're getting
And
back
that's
on there.
okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. But we have a big backlog as well. If
Mhm.
you were listening to this and you were like, you know what, I like those simple-minded Ohioans, then yeah, you can listen to it there as well, or listen to all the old episodes if you want. We also,
Yeah.
We have a spooky hotline.
we do, yes. And I forget the number because we had to change it because when our show was inactive, our Google said, your phone number is going away. So we have a phone number that you can call. It's our haunted hotline.
Or you can text.
Yeah, you can also text.
Anything spooky related, spooky stories. If you want to just ask us a question, we're here. We're ready for it.
We sure are. The phone number is 413-650-2667. And 2667 does spell booze, the plural form
Nice.
of boo as
Nice.
well. But that's it. Find us wherever you want.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, as always, I'm Lindsay, and I'll see you next time with another tale as old as crime.